from the higher dimensions into the top of the room and ask that the light clear the space in the room. Asking that the light begin to dust out any dusty, mucky, dark corners, any cobwebs of energy. And the lower energy, please start to dissolve this beautiful light. And as the sage and the light are beginning to dust out the space that we're in, I'm going to ask that the light begin to clean all the corners and to clean the roof. Any dark attachments that are hanging on in any corner of this space are dissolving now in the light. That this light cover the whole building, starting from the top. And as this bright and cleansing highest light blankets the top of the building, I'm going to ask that it begin to down into the space, moving this beautiful bright light from the higher realms down into all space, into all air, quantum, space, furniture, beings within the space. Moving its way, cleansing all the way down and down to the floor. Cleansing all dark, stuck, negative energy, cobwebs down. Cleansing and dissolving all the way down into the floor. Bringing light from highest realms into all aspects of our physical space, and now moving into the energy fields of the beings within the house. Cleansing all energy, removing dark, stuck energy in the fields. Filling holes and gaps with light. Brightest light from the highest realms, mending any rips and tears in the energy fields of these beings in the house. Moving through all of the layers of energy around each being, with consent, of course, from each's higher self. Bringing the light into the physical bodies. Moving light through all aspects of the physical body. Skin, hair, and nails. Muscle, tissue, connective tissue, joints, and bones. I'm bringing this light into blood and water, into the breath within the body and all cells. The highest light moving into the DNA and cleaning the DNA, moving backwards in time. And forwards in time. Bringing light into the chakra system, allowing that energy to begin to flow. Soul Star Chakra receiving light. Cleansing and opening connections to the higher consciousness realms. Flooding light down from 8th chakra into crown no. And light moving into 3rd eye. Bringing light to throat. Clearing, balancing, opening, crown, 3rd eye, throat. And moving light into the high heart. Sending light through heart, physical heart, and heart chakra. And allowing physical heart to begin to move the light around the body now. Solar plexus opening and light moving through into sacral, cleansing and clearing and opening sacral to highest light. And light into the root chakra now. Chakra opening, sending light down into the pelvis, into the hip bones, all areas of pelvis receiving light. Bringing light through the spine, down to the tailbone, out, down the legs, down the legs, and opening feet chakras, and flow of light from crown to feet, and flow of light from soul star to earth star, under light from open portal in the ceiling to the center of the earth. And pulling light down from the sun flowing light from the portal of the sun through the body into the earth. And would Sarah like to speak an intention? Start and you can finish if you like.
Yeah, it's kind of fuzzy. I don't really know my intention right
Okay. If you find it and you would like to say it, let me know.
now. I think it's linked with kind of like with money, how the money is linked with cabal, and like computers and doing emails and posting on social media and that kind of obsession with posting and likes and all that. It's like I'd like to take the emotion out of it. So I feel like it's stunting me.
What is the emotion that you want to take out? The guilt?
Yeah, it's like guilt and just resistance and questioning if I should be doing it or am I doing it for the wrong reasons, like trying to get more. It's like you get excited when people comment or you get a lot of streams or a lot of likes, but then it feels like, am I playing into the Matrix tricks? But it, so I think that doubt, any guilt and doubt.
Do you want to say like a lessening of the guilt and doubt surrounding music, or a clarification on how to feel about music? How would you structure the sentence? Lessening of the doubt.
It's not necessarily it's music, but it's everything, like interaction with social media and of fame. I think I have a complex with fame still that I think I need to, that's connected in there somewhere.
This is good. Recognize. We will say clarification on the issues of fame and the guilt around the 3D aspects versus the 5D aspects of the music and the technology.
Mm-hmm.
We will try to structure it if you like, and you can repeat after us, or we can just invoke the presence and you can say the intention. Which do you prefer?
I don't know.
Repeat after us. I invoke my I am presence.
I invoke my I am presence.
And my intention for this session is.
And my intention for the session is
Clarity on the use of technology.
Clarity on the use of technology.
and elimination of guilt, doubt, shame,
elimination of guilt, doubt, shame,
and clarity on the fame-seeking issue.
clarity on the fame-seeking issue.
Does this suffice? And so be it. The intention is now flowing through the body. The intention is working in the electrical system and the water. The intention is flowing in the breath. The intention is moving into the cellular structure and the DNA. The intention has moved into the heart, is in the blood. And we now reach the intention up through a pillar of light. We send the intention up through this pillar of light into the sun. As the sun reaches and reads the intention, we stand at the doorway. At the doorway, we now ask Sarah's team of highest light to move in, to be with us now, to surround us now. To surround the earth, to surround the house, and to allow the intention to move through the quantum space within the house and the beings in the house. Sarah's galactic family is called, her soul family is called. Her ascended masters, her higher self, her angelic team, and we call and invite anyone of highest light with Sarah's best intentions at heart to be with us now. Calling Taryn's team of light, Taryn's galactic soul, past, present, future. Angelics, those who work with them. Higher self and any and all other guides who would like to be present to help Sarah's intention. Be with us now. Surrounding us. Holding us in highest light. Opening the portal and sending our beacon of light. Our team's creating this beautiful wave of light outwards from the sun. Moving out into space and into the galactic field. Bringing our consciousness and intention to flow outwards on this wave of light. Sending the energy out across the timelines. across the dimensions. Bringing the wave of light out into the other timeline. Now we are seeing the timeline that Sarah is having communication with. The timeline is one that is collapsing, and the Sarah on this timeline is communicating with this one here. She is confused, and she is looking to this one here for clarity. This one is experiencing a fractal life. That was very close to the life that this one almost encountered. However, Sarah's high self and the team recognized that this was not the high timeline for her. There are aspects of this timeline that Sarah has not completely shut down or absorbed into the current life. Her team is patiently waiting and here to help her shut this timeline down. The timeline is, as Sarah knows, connected to the crumbling matrix and was projected forward from a very small version of this one here. When this one here was very small, she could not envision the timeline that she is on now, but she had to envision one that was very far away from where she was at that time. She did a remarkable job for a young one in constructing a timeline that would take her out of the current darkness from her perspective then, and give her open possibilities to live a life that was functioning on different frequencies from the one that she wanted to get away from. the strength of the projection was very strong and echoed out across the multi-dimensions. This timeline became quite solid in its reality. And as the fractal recollection began, this timeline was very hard to shut down. The aspect of Sarah that was put forth into this timeline was so very conscious that it pulled a piece of the Sarah here now into it. Generally speaking, the alternate timelines are not this strong, and they're collapsing into the chosen timeline is not as difficult.
Are you saying that there's a timeline that I was heading on, maybe towards the fame timeline, and I took a piece of that timeline onto this timeline?
No, we are saying the opposite of this in some ways. We will explain further. The child in the dark space could not envision the current timeline, but could very strongly envision the one where the being was famous and wealthy and loved in some ways and happy. But the projection was from a child's perspective. Most children at this age cannot do such a projection. But Sarah was gifted with high powers of third eye, astral, psychic, travel, and manifestation. On the 3D dimension, the manifestation comes from the combination of the third eye vision and the throat chakra being able to project and create. The child was so powerful at this ability that she created the fame timeline. Despite the fact that this timeline was not congruent with the highest and best timeline, it remained. We say most timelines are easily collapsible because the one creating it does not have this power of manifestation as Sarah does. Her ability to create the full timeline made it difficult for it to be shut down, even when the high self and team and soul decided that this timeline was no longer useful. The aspect of the being that was on this timeline we could say the fractal was so conscious that she resisted the pull towards the current highest timeline. She felt as though she was dying or being asked to die. This was very confusing for her and for the being who is here now, because she did not want to murder her fractal. Her fractal remained in a somewhat childlike state of consciousness. But as we said before, this childlike state of consciousness was still very powerful. Therefore, the fractal resisted being pulled into this timeline and reassembled into the soul of this one. Does this make sense?
I think so. So the other timeline's still existing, and my soul fractal's on it right now.
Yes.
Do I need to pull that soul fractal to this timeline, or will the timelines merge in some way?
Both. Two different ways of looking at the same process. The process that we could encourage is to explain to the fractal that there is only positive forward movement for her experience and soul and happiness and joy if she connects to the larger being of Sarah's soul. If she stays on the timeline and continues to resist, she will experience more pain because she will feel like her experience is crumbling around her. We could liken it to something that the ones who have fame now in this experience of your 3D timeline, the higher one that you exist on now, there are beings such as this fractal of Sarah who projected themselves into the fame situation, and this situation is crumbling and dissolving. Does this make sense?
No.
The ones that you see in your reality as famous, we could take an example like the Britney Spears. In order for this one to move forward on the high timeline, she must abandon the experience of the famous person. The ones who were seeking the fame and fortune were acting from the lower chakras and had much damage and trauma, and were not connected to the higher chakras. Those who had the desire to connect to the higher chakras must integrate
and dissolve the experience of the fame and fortune seeking. If they do not, they will, on this timeline, die. This is not cruel. This is just the way it is proceeding. If one cannot abandon and give up the projections from the lower chakras or child selves and continue to grow and integrate the higher energies, these ones will, from the perspective of the earth moving to the higher dimension, these ones will exit. That is not to say that they won't have their own space to continue growth. They will. But this space will be separate from the ones who are growing up into the fifth dimensional space. Does this become more clear?
So they, for example, Britney Spears would have to walk away from her career and drop everything and choose a different lifestyle? Or,
yes.
And if she doesn't, if she decides to stay the mind control way, will the piece of her that wants that part will die off and then her being will live on here?
Well, that is the choosing to remain on the higher timeline. If she does this, what you have described of releasing the fractal who wanted the fame and fortune and allowing that to dissipate and to integrate herself into the new version of the Britney Spears who is growing into the fifth dimensional space, then she will do this. If she does not or cannot release this desire, then from the perspective of those in the rising energies, she will perish from their perspective. From the perspective of the fractal who does not release these desires, she will move on to the third dimensional earth that is allowing for the continued growth of the being, and she will remain with those who are of like energy. These ones who cannot ascend will have, from their perspective, their own place to continue working on their traumas and growth. And they are proceeding at a slower pace.
Okay.
The being who is Sarah here, this one, is already past this point. She does not have this option, so to say, of remaining in the 3D earth. Too much of her soul, too many of her aspects have been integrated and are moving through the ascension process, riding the waves of light. It is only this aspect that is refusing at the moment to integrate. We are trying to express that the process is only difficult because this one does not quite understand, because her consciousness is stuck in the childlike consciousness This happens to those who are traumatized as children. This is why the programs of the Monarch and the MK Ultra and these types of programs that were established by the Dark choose children, because if the child is traumatized enough as a young one, the consciousness splits. These splits are very difficult to mend, like a broken mirror. The mirror can be mended if all of the pieces are found and put in the proper place and mended with the glue. And then, once this has been completed, the higher realms and teams of light can erase like magic the glued seams and make the mirror once again whole. But they are not allowed to do this until all of the pieces have been found and put in place by the soul. The choice for integration is given to each soul, and each soul has the ability to choose to ascend and integrate or not. Those that are leaving the planet are generally the ones who were unable to or chose not to integrate all of the fractals. Does this make sense?
So I still have a fractal out there that's missing.
Not missing.
Well, that's on the other timeline. So
Yes.
so until either that part dies off or comes back, I'll be feeling like this.
The quantum nature of the fractalization is hard to explain in a third dimensional language, but we will try to do this more clearly now. The fractal does not have the power or the choice. The soul of the one on the highest timeline has the control and the power and the choice. The fractal is just a shadow or a projection of the soul. And the projections usually do not have that much consciousness. However, as we explained before, Sarah's child self was so powerful at envisioning and manifesting that she threw much of her consciousness into this fractal. She is responsible for removing this consciousness from the fractal. The fractal is not the one in charge. The one here is the one in charge. It is like a parent who is in charge of a child. The child wants certain things, and the parent knows what is best for the child. The child may not understand or agree with the parent at the time, but the parent is the one to tell the child what will keep them safe. And the child will listen because something inside the soul of the child knows that the parent is correct and knows that the parent wants the best and loves the child. This is the same with the fractal. The soul of Sarah has to tell the fractal that her integration into the main soul and highest timeline is the way forward. The fractal will only resist this because she knows nothing else. But once it is described to her where she is actually going, and she is given a new vision of hope and love, she will see that the higher timeline is much more fun and fulfilling than the one that she is on. She is experiencing adoration from the fans and from the people around her, but it is much closer to a parasite situation, and she does not know what real love feels like. She only thinks that the adoration from the ones around her is love. She has never felt real love. And the real love comes from something beyond the fame and the gifts and the singing and the dancing and the looks and the surface aspects. The love comes from the universe and the teams of light and the angels and source. The fractal needs to open her heart and listen to the angels, and they will speak to her heart and tell her that the new timeline she is joining is very awesome. It is beyond what she could have imagined for herself, and she will be very excited. But she needs the soul of Sarah to guide her. As Sarah shows her what the path forward is with love and opens her heart to this fractal, the fractal Sarah's heart will open and be magnetically pulled into the oversoul of Sarah. The process can be very simple and easy if the heart is used. The heart acts as a projector and a magnet. If the heart is open and the vision of the fractal is visualized in front of the body of Sarah here, and she looks at the fractal in the eyes and in the heart, and she explains to her that joining with the oversoul will give her so much more love and so many magical possibilities that she has never dreamed of yet. She will get the fractal very excited to join her. And then all she has to do is take deep breaths and open her heart. And the two will begin to join together. This is what the fractal actually desires. She does not want to feel alone and separated anymore. And she does not have to feel this way anymore. Sarah's team of light and fairies and the ones who were with her in the dark space, who you discovered long ago, the ones who helped to close the third eye, they were little fairies of different colors. Do you remember these?
Mm-hmm.
They are asking the fractal to please come play with them. And she has been alone for so long. It is very sad, and she wants to cry because she misses her friends. The one giving the message is feeling the emotions now. They love her so much. And they care about her so much. And she did not know this. She thought that she needed the fans and the parasites to give her that energy. She was tricked. But she did such a good job at protecting herself and getting herself into a position of power on the 3D level so that those dark ones could not fuck with her anymore. She was amazing at getting herself out of the darkness. We commend her. And we tell her, you are a beautiful soul. And you have just been missing the rest of your soul. And your soul family is waiting for you. There is no need to feel alone anymore. Does Sarah feel this one, feel a connection to this fractal now?
Yes.
Does the fractal feel like she is being heard and seen?
It's hard to talk about.
Does this one want quiet for a while?
Yeah.
Okay. The Riku cat is here. What energy for the the geometries of the soul and the fractal are symbiotic now. They are aligning. The fractal is turning upright. She was in a dimension that was sideways. Not completely sideways, but at an angle off. Like she was leaning sideways all the time. The dimension was put in place this way to keep her from joining the soul. A part of the sideways nature of this dimension was created by the split and the dark magic. A The dark magic has lost its power. But the dimension remained off kilter because it knew nothing else. The stream of light of the highest timeline is now absorbing the sideways dimension, and the beings on it are dissolving except for the ones who want to join the flow of light. They are standing more upright now. As they integrate with the flow of light of the high timeline, they will be able to breathe better. And they will begin to see clearly out of their eyes. The geometry being turned like a wheel and clicked into place. The breathing and the water help the alignment. Left will cease. The pain in the left side was because the timeline was, the fractal was leaning to the left. As the fractal begins to integrate, the symmetry becomes aligned. The two blueprints are now becoming one. And the electrical system will balance these two. Is the pain in the head subsiding? Or is it still present? Do you feel the fractal fighting, or do you feel the soul fighting?
There's still some attachments that mind control.
And what do the attachments attach to? Does it feel like there's a physical place in the body where these attachments are?
Having trouble letting go of something that maybe such a long time ago. It's tricky fantasy of the perfect getaway. And wants to live in this fantasy to make it become reality. And this soul cannot see the true high vibrational timeline yet. It scares me, so I don't want to let go of that timeline. Until I see the new timeline, it's hard to trust in that.
This timeline that you are describing is the future timeline that you are on. The community and the performing and the feelings of singing the songs and dancing the dances and feeling happy and appreciated for the gifts that you were given to share is the timeline you are on. This is your future if you want it. This is what you have created and are moving into. There is no letting go of desires that are for the best good of the soul. The desires to share and sing and dance and be appreciated for the gifts. This is the timeline that you are walking into. The space between is the hard part, and everyone on your planet is having this fear and feeling because the new timeline has not shown itself yet. Most people are feeling a sense of lost and waywardness and homesickness and cannot see the new timeline. This was a protection mechanism that was put in place for this transition period so that the dark ones could not move into the future timeline and mess with it. They were trying to get a hold of the future timeline and to put it off kilter. So a gap was created where no one could see the future, not even the soul whose future it is. This is very difficult for the soul, and this has happened to all beings on earth. The process you are experiencing is one that no beings have gone through yet, and you are doing this for the first time. You are very brave and amazing, and we are here to support you and guide you towards your future. All you need to do is settle into your body and to breathe and drink water and to understand there's so much energy and to understand that you are safe.
Do you mean the fractal integration?
We are talking about the movement of the soul into its future. The fractal integration is a part of this, but has already occurred by the time we are speaking. The fractal integration is happening now as the being is moving through this crumbling and pause. That is what this pause is for. It is for all of the souls to find their pieces and bring them into the whole. Many are having much trouble with this, and they will continue to have the trouble, and the ones of the light workers are going to be the ones to help them, guide them forward.
You think we could feel started doing the integration earlier? And then
we understand the process will continue. We want you to know that you don't have to do much work for this to occur. It is already occurring. Would you like to end the session now?
Yeah, this has been helpful. Thank you.
We
May I ask who you're talking with this?
We are a collective of Sarah's guides. We come from the realm of the Taryn. It's getting the Syrian and the Andromedan, and there are the fairies from the early time, and there are the angelic beings that are also contributing their energy. The Uriel is saying the name, and we are accepting this as energy that is being projected towards Sarah's collective. Yes, the Uriel is here.
Never heard of your
The angelic archetype of Uriel. You will find the resonance with this when you want. We will end the session by telling you that we love you and support you, and you will find the way forward. You are very powerful in your heart, and the space that you will want to work on from our perspective is the integration of the heart and solar plexus chakra. The heart and solar plexus working together will heal the wounding in the lower chakras and will also connect them very powerfully to the upper chakras, and this will make Sarah able to see the future timeline that she wants and to create it. But until the heart and solar plexus have been integrated, the vision will be hard to see. The integration will also help the lower chakra physical symptoms to pass out of the body. Thank you. Thank you for talking with us. We love you.